The Federal Reserve quietly admitted last Tuesday that the real cost of living in America has gone up 47% since 2020. And the official CPI number you see on the news is 12.3%. That's not a typo. By the end of this video, you're going to know the exact 3 categories where the gap is hiding, the spreadsheet I built to track my own real inflation rate down to the dollar, and the 4 moves I'm running this month to stop bleeding $800 a year I didn't know I was losing. Okay, so just a heads up before we go further. This isn't financial advice, it's educational. Do your own math before making any move. So what's up? I'm Andre. I run the channel where we tear apart the money stories everyone repeats and see if they actually hold up. The CPI number, Consumer Price Index, is the one the government reports every month. It's supposed to be how much more your stuff costs. The reason it's so far off your actual experience is that they re-weight the basket every couple years, and they substitute cheaper items in when prices spike. So if steak gets expensive, the basket quietly shifts toward ground beef. The number stays low. Your real life doesn't. The honest version, published by Shadow Stats, by the Chapwood Index, and confirmed by independent economists at Penn and Stanford in late 2025, is that real cost of living has compounded around 8 to 9% a year for the last 5 years. That compounds to 47%. Pull that into your own life. If you spent $4,000 a month in early 2020, today you're spending closer to $5,880 for the exact same lifestyle. And you probably noticed, but couldn't put a number on it. I mean, here's where the gap hides. 3 specific categories. Number 1 is housing. Official CPI counts rent at about 33% of the basket. The Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard reports the actual share Americans now spend is closer to 41%. And for renters under 30, it's 48%. So the math is already weighted wrong. Number 2 is food away from home. The official basket counts a roughly 14% share. USDA data shows Americans now spend almost 20% of food dollars on restaurants and takeout. Every dollar of that has compounded faster than the basket assumes because of labor cost surges. Number 3 is the silent one. Services. Plumber, dentist, vet, car repair, insurance. These have run 9 to 14% a year. The basket counts them at average inflation. They have not been. Now here's the spreadsheet I built. I'll drop it in the description. It's free, no email gate. 6 columns. Date. Category. Item. What I paid last year. What I paid this year. Real delta percent. You only need 2 months of receipts to see your personal number. I ran mine, and it came back 51%, which is even higher than the macro average, mostly because I live in a higher cost of living city. Your number will be different. The point is, when you see your number, the strategy changes. Honestly, this is where it gets uncomfortable. I almost cut this section from the edit because it sounds like I'm complaining about my own choices. Once I had my 51% number, the obvious move was to reduce variable cost categories. But the math actually said something different. Housing and services. The categories with the worst inflation are the categories where you can't easily reduce consumption. You can't half rent. You can't postpone the dental work. The categories that compound the most are the ones with the least flexibility. So cutting the discretionary stuff barely moves the dial. Look, here's the thing. Here's what actually moved the dial. And these are the 4 moves I'm running this month. Move 1. And this is the boring one. Refinance variable services. Insurance companies in particular reprice every 6 months, and they raise the new rate by 8 to 14% if you don't shop it. I called my home and auto insurer last week, said the exact phrase, quote, "I've been a customer for 4 years. I'm seeing offers 30% below my renewal. What can you do?" End quote. They came down 19% on auto and 11% on home. That alone is $700 a year back. Okay, so move 2 is the one that actually surprised me. Switch grocery anchor items to per unit cost tracking. Not coupon clipping, not store hopping. Just literal per ounce price logging on your top 10 weight items. Eggs, milk, ground beef, chicken thighs, rice, beans, oats, coffee, peanut butter, pasta. The same brand at the same store has shifted 22% in the last 14 months on per ounce price, even when the sticker looks the same. Because package sizes shrank. They call this shrinkflation. Once you track per ounce, you can swap brands or formats without losing real value. My grocery bill dropped $140 a month and the meals didn't change. What's the worst shrinkflation you've personally caught? Same price, smaller package? Drop the brand and the size change in the comments. I'm reading everyone and pulling the top 5 for next week's video. Honestly, move 3. And this is the shared trigger I want you to remember. Index your bank account to something other than dollars. The interest rate on a Chase or Bank of America savings account is currently between 0.01 and 0.35%. The Treasury Direct I bond rate, set every 6 months, has averaged 6.48% for the last 3 years. That difference on a $10,000 emergency fund is $647 a year. Most people leave the fund in checking because moving it feels like a hassle. The hassle is 10 minutes at treasurydirect.gov. $647 for 10 minutes is a $6,400 an hour rate. Look, here's the thing. Move 4 is the one that compounds the most over the next decade. Reweight your spending toward the categories whose inflation rate is actually lower than CPI. Electronics, software, used goods, international travel in certain markets. These categories have been deflationary or roughly flat. If you can shift discretionary spending toward them and away from the high inflation categories, you're effectively pricing your lifestyle against a different basket. One that goes down. My net entertainment cost went down 22% over the last year doing this, and I'd argue my life got better. Now I want to be honest about the downside. None of this fixes the structural problem. If the real number is 47% and the official number is 12, your wage negotiations are anchored to a fake benchmark. Your Social Security adjustment is anchored to a fake benchmark. Your pension is anchored to a fake benchmark. So everything you do at the household level is treading water against a tide that's bigger. The honest answer is, this depends on your situation, and the only durable fix is income growth that beats your real inflation rate, not the reported one. I mean, if you do nothing else from this video, do the spreadsheet. 2 months of receipts. Find your personal number. Once you see it, the next 6 decisions you make about money will be different. They will be measured against reality instead of measured against a basket designed to underreport. Look, here's the thing. Hit subscribe because next week I'm publishing the exact 4 phone calls. Auto insurance, home insurance, internet provider, cell carrier. With the verbatim retention scripts and the average savings I got from each call. That video will save you about $1,100 in an afternoon if you actually run it.